accidentally, as a veteran of the... Anyway, let's get to some really funny shit. It turns out a U.S. national, earlier today, we found out that the U.S. national had crossed into North Korean territory and is believed to be in custody of the North Korean authorities. We later found out that he was actually a soldier that had crossed into North Korean territory, the People's Republic of Korea, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the best Korea. So let's see what the details are now here. Let's get started right here.
CNN is learning more about the American soldier now detained in North Korea. A U.S. defense official says that the soldier was facing disciplinary action.
Hold on one second. I gotta put my fucking hat back on for this one. Sorry. As a veteran of the Korean War, on the popular Korea side, I don't know. I mean, this man is just finding freedom.
By the U.S. military before he crossed the demarcation line into North Korea.
Yeah, the official says he was about to be sent back to the United States. We're told he was not in uniform at the time and was on some kind of, a tour.
CNN's Mark Stewart, Natasha Bertrand, and Kylie Atwood are joining us now. Natasha, I want to begin with you. So we've learned that this soldier was assigned to the U.S. Forces Korea. What else do we know about him and this discipline?
My immediate speculation, maybe I'm wrong, judging by how the American military moves in that region, is that he was probably doing so much sex pest shit, so much, doing not the normal amount of rape that people do on these bases, but way more than the normal amount that even the military officials were like, we have to charge you, brother. You've raped too many people. So he was just like, all right, this is my last chance to get the fuck out of it. Because there is an acceptable amount of sexual assault in the eyes of the U.S. military when they are overseas. They see it as a quiet form of compensation. Basically, there's an acceptable amount of drunk driving you can get to do in these bases and in the surrounding regions. I mean, you can even do it on American bases on American soil. You can clip that. I mean, what the fuck do you mean? What, people are going to be like, wow, Hasan is so wrong for saying this? No, that's literally right. If you want to talk about fucking military preparedness and military readiness, look to that. Look at the Fort Bragg murders, for example. Anyway. I was a defense paralegal in the U.S. Air Force. 99% of my clients were doing sex crimes. Yeah.
Discipline that he was facing. Oh,
well, not a lot, Sarah. Essentially, what we're learning at this point is...
I mean, I don't know. This is, again, we don't know yet. That was just my speculation.
That he was a junior enlisted soldier, and he was assigned to U.S. Forces Korea, and he was taking a tour of the joint security area in the DMZ, at which point he appears to have crossed over that demarcation line into North Korea voluntarily. And I'll just read you a statement that we got from U.S. Forces Korea, which says that a U.S. service member on a JSA Joint Security Area orientation tour willfully and without authorization crossed the military demarcation line into the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Now, the U.S. military does at this point believe that he is still in North Korean custody. And interestingly, the military says that they are in touch with their Korean People's Army, that's the North Korean military counterparts, to try to resolve this issue. But what we are learning is that this soldier was apparently facing disciplinary action by the U.S. military, and he was actually set to be sent back to the United States before he actually went on this tour and ended up crossing that demarcation line again, apparently voluntarily and willfully. So Pentagon officials across the administration are trying to gather more information on why exactly he crossed that line. But obviously, this new information about the potential disciplinary action he was facing adds a new dimension to all of this, guys.
It definitely adds a new wrinkle, Natasha. Thank you. Mark, what are the one question when we were learning about this morning is...
he passed his quotas for crimes and he ran for freedom. They're saying assault, but I wonder what kind of assault.
If he had crossed over accidentally, what are the chances of crossing over accidentally into North Korea there?
Accidentally?
Okay, I think a lot of people may be surprised.
Accidentally? What was he in fucking Mongolia? No, he was in South Korea. There is no accidentally crossing over the line into North Korea from South Korea. Okay? What do you mean accidentally? Like, there are parts where you might not know where the fucking border is in other parts of the world that are bordering Korea. Not in fucking South Korea, though. What the hell? Oops, fell directly into DPRK, dude. Yeah, this is the same broadcast that talks about how fucking fortified this border is. It's the DMZ is the most fortified border on the planet, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, did he go accidentally into North Korea? Who knows? What's happening here? Yeah, he was just jogging. He was just jogging around the 38th parallel in the vicinity and then accidentally jogged directly into a North Korean checkpoint. Yeah, someone pushed him into the pool on the North Korean side. Okay. No shot. I went to South Korea when I was in the Navy, and although I wasn't close, they repeatedly emphasized the importance and location of the North Korean border. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that it's not happening accidentally. He was already under investigation. 87% of SAG-AFTRA union members make less than $26,000 a year. They don't qualify for health insurance. Is this true, Hasan? This is so funny because I verbatim said this yesterday. Yes, it is true. Anyway, yeah, he slipped and he fell into North Korea, just like the Aussies did.
To know that there are public tours that Americans visiting South Korea can actually tour the DMZ and this joint security area. I have done so, and I will tell you, there is no question where these boundaries are located. It is very delineated. These territorial boundaries, that line of demarcation is very clear, and oftentimes there are a lot of military personnel often with you when you go on these tours. So there's no.
Yeah, bro, he's the military personnel. Dude, it's like the top of the hour ad break.
Question exactly the location of all of this. This is an area that is patrolled or maintained, if you will.
It'd be pretty funny if he became the Yeonmi Park, but for North Korea. You know what I mean? Where he was just like, yeah, in America, they beat you up for saying that, like, America is not an imperial genocidal empire. They beat you up so hard. That's why I came to North Korea, where I found freedom. In America, they're eating mud. They're eating hamburger out of mud. In America, they make you pay to go to work, and then they don't pay you enough so you can eat food. Well, okay, the Yeonmi Park shit is like mostly lies. He could just be truthful about America by and still make it look fucking desolate, because it is desolate. In America, they make children work. It used to be illegal, and now governors and leaders of prefectures have made it legal in different places for children to go to work. One of them died recently. A 16-year-old died in like a hay bale incident or something.
Well, by United Nations forces, which in many cases are American soldiers. And
in America, they can't even pull the trains. Trains constantly derail, and they don't have the strong Korean backbone to pull those trains when they derail. So you're fucked at that point. In America, commuter trains are rare, very rare. They're a very poor country. And basically, when they fail all the time, because America is a very poor country. All of the wealth is at the top to all these like wealthy oligarchs, You can't even pull those trains like the strong Korean men can pull the Korean train.
And on the other side of this territorial line, you have North Koreans. Natasha Bertrand brought up the point that discussions are now taking place between these forces and North Korea. It is interesting to note that there's actually a phone line that has been established, that was established historically, where United Nations forces could call up and reach out to North Korean forces. It is not clear if that's the channel that's being used here, but that's a historical protocol that has been in place. Finally, again, this is not an area where you can accidentally wander. There are a lot of military personnel who are not armed. And in case someone does decide to venture over, United Nations forces have strict orders not to intervene. There is really nothing that they can do.
And Kylie Atwood, let's go to you at the State Department to sort of tie this all up. Based on Natasha's new reporting that this was a soldier facing discipline, what's the posture of the State Department toward what's happening right now?
Well, listen, given that this is a soldier who was actively serving in the U.S. forces South Korea, which we should note there's about 28,000 soldiers who serve in those forces based in South Korea, the State Department is really pointing to the Pentagon right now and allowing them to take the lead in terms of sharing with us information about how this incident evolved. But I think it's also important to note that, this
I got a pretty good idea, I think.
Tour,
I feel like I nailed it.
Presumably wasn't with, a group of other Americans, a group of other American soldiers. And so, therefore, the U.S. is going to be heavily reliant on the UN command in this area, which tries to preserve the stability in the area between North and South Korea. These tours happen to show folks that what there is some sort of stability, even though there's this tension between North Korea and South Korea. It's also important to note that before this incident occurred, there weren't any Americans that we knew of who were detained in North Korea. There was, of course, Otto Warmbier, who was released by the North Koreans in 2017. And then there were 3 other Americans who were detained by North Korea, released in 2018. And then, of course, we saw the Trump administration really engage, with North Korea between President Trump and Kim Jong-un with those series of summits that we saw. That has not been the situation during the Biden administration. There hasn't been regular diplomatic contact between the U.S. and the North Koreans right now. So in terms of the contact that's occurring at this moment in time, as Natasha was saying, it is the Pentagon that is taking the lead. And of course, we're working to learn if there are other avenues that the U.S. is also reaching out to North Korea, trying to use potentially, its allies, South Korea, potentially China, and also, of course, U.S. diplomats.
Kylie, when is it clear to you, or are you getting a sense of, if, as the Pentagon's taking the lead right now, if this becomes a State Department problem, or when the State Department starts stepping in to try to assist to get the soldier back?
Yeah, well, the State Department would step in if this becomes a case of an American who is wrongfully detained by North Korea. And we can't make that assessment definitively right now, but based on the information
how would they be
that
rightfully
we have gathered,
detained?
the fact that the Pentagon is...
First of all, any kind of detainment from a foreign adversary is always going to be considered contentious and wrongful, okay? The very notion of detaining an American falls flat in the face of what the American empire is all about. The entire point of having an empire is that no one can arrest one of your fucking nationals. Okay? It don't work that way, man. It don't work that way. I would be highly suspicious if the American government doesn't make a big stink about this, doesn't make a big fuss about this. That means this soldier did some real fucked up shit, okay? I mean, it could be that, or that he is like a genuine radicalized fucking Marxist-Leninist who read too much left book posts and literally thinks that in North Korea they're eating hamburger for every meal, and that's why he defected. You know what I mean? But that seems highly unlikely. U.S. soldier laughed as he ran across the DMZ in North Korea, witness says, and he was reportedly in trouble with the military.